time. So, okay, I'm
No
recording now. Welcome to the Team Spark call. Thank you for coming. And I'm going to start it off with just a couple announcements so far since we haven't had a call in a while. But I wanted to share the top PV for the week, and that was Megan Duck, and your PV girl was at 1,055 this week, which was, holy crap, that's amazing. So way to go, Megan. And behind her was Rico Colster, was the next one down at 398. So good job, you guys. Way to rock last week strong. Tomorrow night is our coach open house. And so if you haven't been inviting to that yet, it's not too late. We have tomorrow. So we're going to kind of run that just like a one-night event tomorrow night at 9, and it's going to run similar to the other ones in like a Facebook group style format with posts every 3 to 5 minutes and some live videos. So if you have people to join that, I will be posting the link for that on the team page probably later tonight or tomorrow morning. The next thing is registering for Summit. If you guys have not registered for Summit yet, I highly recommend it. It's July 10th. It's 11th to the 14th. I always say get there on the 10th, so we actually have time to bond as a team. But it's in Indianapolis again this year, and it was so much fun last year. It's only 3 months away now, and they just announced that there's going to be a flash sale next week, March 24th through the 31st. The tickets are going to be only $165. So if you have kind of been on the fence and you're not sure if you were going to go or not, now is a good time with the flash sale coming up. I honestly highly recommend it if you are serious about growing your business. It's one of those things where you just can't help but be inspired when you go. You are in a room with thousands of other people who are positive and uplifting and like-minded, and you're going to be trained by the best of the best top coaches in the business. And it's just that energy you get, you leave feeling like you can conquer the freaking world. And it's just an experience like none other. And I can't say enough good things. I haven't missed a summit because I want and need to be there so bad every year, and it's such an important event. So please come to Summit if you haven't registered already. You won't regret it. Okay, speaking of Summit, the qualifications for, walking across the stage at a certain rank for Summit. If for Diamond rank, Star Diamond, and above, the cutoff is May 2nd. So if you want to walk across the stage as a new Diamond or a new Star Diamond, you have to hit that rank by May 2nd, and then you have to hold it for 6 weeks. And once you hold it, whatever rank you are on June 6th, that is going to be your rank for the Summit recognition, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are the announcements, and I'm going to dive right in now to the Ultimate Portion Fix launch. It launched Monday, if you probably already know this, but I just want to throw it out here that some of you guys, maybe you missed the boat on the launch, maybe you didn't prepare as well as you wished you had, and now you're thinking, oh gosh, I missed it, it's too late. Let me tell you something. It is not too late. All of us in the Beachbody industry, we know what the launch date was, so we're all in that headspace, but everybody else out there, they don't know when the real launch date was, or if it's 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks ago. They don't care. They just are interested in seeing what you're doing and how it has changed you. So who cares what we haven't done before? Let's start from today and go forward with this launch, because it's really not too late. If you're not in our team sneak peek group, get in that group. That is where we are placing people who want to learn more information about the program. So that is, I've linked it on our Team Spark page. It's also linked on the Team Pivot page. It's called the sneak peek to the Ultimate Portion Fix. So get in there. Make sure that you purchase your own personal Ultimate Portion Fix. If you have done 21 Day Fix in the past, you are going to want this program, and I highly recommend you do the certification as well, because it's only going to help you help more people with this program. I haven't dove in as much as I would like, but I finished the first module, which is the first 4 videos and the first 4 certification videos so far. And I'm already learning things that I can take and utilize to help my current challengers, to help new challengers, and to utilize on my social media to attract new challengers. So being a product of the product is part of our job, and using our products and our nutrition plans and just like our fitness programs, we have to use them in order to inspire other people to use them. You can't just say you should do this and if you're not doing it. So I'm going through, of course I'm going on the cruise and all of that, and I'm not going to be following it to the T, but coming back, we're going to be following it, and we're going to be going through the group with the challenger. So I think Marion had posted there's a couple different start dates that you could do. It's like March 25th or like April 1st or something like that. So there's plenty of time. The group's going to be open, and the thing is, if you can always start another group at any time. So you don't feel like you have to be limited to when Marion is starting her group. You can always start another group, team up with another person on our team, and host your own group for the Ultimate Portion Fix. And I do recommend hosting a separate or being part of a separate group just for this program, because it's new and it's a launch. And from what I've gathered so far from the Autumn's video trainings that I've watched, it's really in detail on nutrition, and people are going to really want to focus in on that. Okay, so if you're not already doing this, making sure that you're posting on social media about it. One really cool idea that I got from the Beachbody, I think it was the Beachbody, no, it wasn't Beachbody Champions. It was like the Ultimate Portion Fix group, because once you purchase your own, you are allowed to be in Autumn's group. And Autumn is there answering questions every single day, you guys. And that is like the ultimate resource, which is super cool. So somebody in that group posted a really good idea. There's a new cookbook, volume 2, the Fixate cookbook, and it's really good, by the way. But she just did a little post on social media. It was like her holding up her cookbook and saying, which food do you think, it was something about like, which food do you think that you would need to give up to reach your goal, or to, hit your weight goal, or whatever it happened to be, the exact question. And people would say like, oh, pizza or ice cream or whatever they thought that they would have to give up. And then she would search either in the cookbook or on the 21 Day Fix approved recipes, and like find an equivalent healthier version to send them. So I thought that was pretty cool, because it's like with this program, you don't have to give up anything. Autumn even has cocktails in her Fixate Volume 2 cookbook. So that is the beauty of this program, is it's all about balance with all the different food groups, and with, your treats too. It's just using real foods instead of all the processed packaged sugary crap. And then when you're doing your invites, making sure to hit people's pain points with food and nutrition. So one example is during, when you're either on Facebook or on your Instagram polls and things like that, is speaking to what people's pain points might be. Like, do you struggle most with a sweet tooth, or is it late night snacking, or is it meal prep, or is it finding kid-friendly recipes, or maybe it's just finding recipes in general, or meal planning, and kind of figuring out like what your people struggle with. And then those people that are responding to your polls, you can reach out to them and, say, hey, I heard that you're struggling with kid-friendly recipes. Autumn has a whole section in her new program with 75 recipes for kid lunches. And then, would you be interested in finding more information about this program? And then you plop them into our group. And I'm going to talk more about third-party tools at the second part of this call, and that group is a third-party tool right there. One of the things that we learned in the Bob Heilig training was less word vomit when talking to people, and more plugging them into these other third-party tools that give information without you talking their ear off. So another way to hit people's pain points is to talk about your own experience and your own struggles. Think back to the first time you used the container system. Why did you decide to use the container system from the get-go? Think about back to that moment when you were like, I want to do this. Was it because you were, trying to lose a few pounds for your wedding day? Maybe you were postpartum. Maybe you were just trying to eat healthier foods. For me, I realized when I started using the containers that I thought I had ate pretty healthy, but I realized that I was eating way too many carbs, way too much cheese, and definitely not enough vegetables and not enough proteins. And so the containers really helped me to figure out not only proper portion sizes, but how many portions a day, because I could eat a lot of fruit, but I was eating too much fruit, so it was a good way to kind of map things out for me. And maybe you talk about your first impression of them. Like when they first came in the mail, I was like, oh, they're small. I'm going to be hungry. Like I'm going to be starving on this program, right? But then showing people like, yeah, maybe they look tiny, but then kind of filling them up and putting them on a plate so people can then see, wow, okay, this is actually a lot of food. And I can't even finish all of this food sometimes because it's so much food. So talk about how things have changed for you, how things are different now. Maybe you used to struggle with sweet tooth. Maybe you used to struggle with different things, and now you don't because of the containers. That's something that you want to talk about. Right, I see a question in the chat here. If people ask what's the difference between the 21-day fix and the ultimate portion fix, what would you say? Okay, so the 21-day fix was the program Autumn created. I guess it was 5 years ago now. I can't remember exactly. And so the ultimate portion fix still uses the container system, but she goes into so much more depth and detail about what that actually means. Like, there is a whole system that is involved that is more than just colors of the rainbow. She talks a lot about balanced macros and how there is a 40-30-30 balance of carbohydrates and healthy fats and lean proteins. And all of that is built in to the container system. You probably don't need to go into all of that detail with them, but basically she really dives in and you kind of learn about what you're doing. She talks a lot about sugar addiction, kicking sugar addiction, kicking food addiction in general, about emotional eating. She dives into kid-friendly recipes. She dives into meal prep and meal planning, because even though a lot of people have done the 21-day fix, I know I still struggle with meal prep and planning. And I've been a coach for 4 years. So she really dives into these topics from not only from like a nutrition aspect, but also from a fitness trainer aspect. And like she was in competitions and those sorts of things. So she really, it's a kind of a deep dive. And there's, I think 30 videos in the program that you kind of watch, and there's a workbook that goes along with it, and you're really diving into the whole emotional side of your why and your attachment to food. Why are you late night snacking? What are the emotions that you're feeling late at night that are causing you to eat? And she really kind of digs in a lot more than just, okay, eat these containers, eat those containers, and that's it. This is a really a more in-depth dive to what the program is really all about. So that was a really long answer. I'd probably condense it a little bit. And, I haven't exactly figured out my perfect answer yet. We're all learning this together and figuring out what is going to work. But what you could do rather than, okay, now I know what I would say. If people ask you what the difference is, I would say that it is a deep dive into the program. You can talk about the videos and then say, how about I add you to this group to learn more? And that's pretty much it. And then they can watch the video about how it's different. And then they can look at the graphics about how it's different. And then you don't have to word vomit, right? Because if you would have just heard what I just said to you, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's way too much. I don't know about this. But if I just say, hey, do you want to join this group to learn more? Maybe you'll say yes. And then you can do the third-party tools. That would be my answer, I think. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer. Okay. Now, okay, so then reaching out to people. So you're doing your posts, you're doing your social media, and then reaching out to people who are liking and commenting and then adding them to this sneak peek. The big important thing also is to follow up with people, especially at the end of the month, especially when the group is coming up and there's that sense of urgency. That is a good time to follow up with people. And I will say it till I'm blue in the face. 80% of my challengers and coaches who have joined our groups and our team have come from follow-ups. Most people are not those unicorns who just sign up after your first conversation. It just usually doesn't happen. It takes time to build a relationship. It takes time for them to trust you. It takes time for them to absorb the information, and they, at the end of the day, have to be ready. So following up is key. And also, people forget. People get busy. And I know if people are messaging me about things, I will just like, oh, I'll reach back out to them later. And if they don't follow up with me, like, that's it. Like, I'm not going to reach back out to them. So people want to know that you haven't forgot about them and that you are thinking about them. And most times they're not going to be annoyed as long as you're not being annoying with your follow-ups. And I'll talk a little bit more about that too at the end of the call. But I want to dive now into third-party tools and what they are. So third-party tools are anything that's basically not you, word vomiting to your potential challenger or coach. It could be a video that you send them to. It could be a free group that you invite them to. It could be a Facebook info group that we have, like for the Ultimate Portion Fix. It could be a post. It could be a graphic little image of like the screenshot for the, the different packages or something like that. That is a third-party tool. And by the way, there is a typo in the Ultimate Portion Fix one, and I believe it is fixed now, but one of the packages was incorrect. So just if you had already saved a copy of that, you might want to go back and snag the new graphic. So one of the things I learned in the Bob Heilig training was, instead of acting like the expert, was to refer people to these tools. One of the things we want to show people, especially new coaches coming into this business or potential coaches coming into this business, is that it is simple. If people think that they're going to have to spend 30 minutes coming up with an email response to the difference between 21-Day Fix and Ultimate Portion Fix, how many people do you think are going to want to sign up to be a coach? People are like, I don't have 30 minutes to write one email. But how long does it take to add somebody to an informational group? Not that long. So we need to show people that, yes, this business is hard work, but it's simple work, and you don't need to be an expert to be a good coach and to be a good network marketer. And duplication is going to be the key, and systems are going to give you freedom from the time. So having a system, plugging people into it and not spending all of that, your free time, having 30-minute conversations that are turning people off from what we're doing ultimately. Okay, I want to show you quickly here. I'm going to share my screen to show you where some of these resources are. Okay, so okay, here is the team. I have to move this thing out of the way. Okay, the Team Pivot page is here. If you click on the banner, now you're going to be slow for me. Computer's so slow. I'm sorry. It's not going to work now. Cool. Well, if you click on this banner here, it's going to take you to it's going to show you a bunch of links. And on those links, it's going to show you third-party tools for people that are interested in coaching, people that are interested in a challenge group, and then like specific people. Like there's a couple different versions of it. So if somebody is a teacher, there's a version with Andrea and her story. If you're a mom, there's a version, like a mom version to send to people. So those are the third-party tools, and it's also going to have a link to a Dropbox, and I posted it on our team page. For some reason, this isn't working. But let me see if I can do it on the Team Spark page. Banners don't want to open up. Well, anyway, if you click on the banners, there is a Dropbox there where you can see all of the resources and third-party tools. Like there are like Instagram stories you can snag from people. And if for some reason you don't like the video that's already been created, there's little snippets where you can put together your own video of the clips that you like for your third-party tool. Also, if you go to the Coach Online office and go to Grow My Business, and then go to Product Tools and Shareable Media. Oh, God. I'm not doing a good job of sharing my screen today. Hates me. Okay, let's try this again. So you go to Grow My Business and then Product Tools and Shareable Media. And then if you scroll down, there's all of these different toolkits here. So if somebody is interested in a program, or if I want to recommend a program to somebody, I don't spend an hour talking to them about the different programs. I just send them links to the promo videos about each program. I mean, I might send like a little couple lines about it, especially if I've had experience with it. But you want to make sure that you're sending them to these third-party tools. So like, let's click on one, for example. Let's say 80-Day Obsession. You click on that, and then you go down. There's the training guide, but then they also have all the videos here. Okay, 80-Day Obsession is finally here. I think that's the promo video there. So, and then there's all these other videos that you can use to share with people who are interested in the program. So make sure you're utilizing the Coach Online office. I think they even have one for joining as a coach. So there's so many tools back in here that you can use. If you guys aren't utilizing the challenge group tools too, they have examples for what, different topics you can post about in your challenge groups. Now they have like Instagram story things that you can use and share, and ideas. So make sure you guys are utilizing those tools. Okay, let's see where we are here. I'm gonna stop the share. Cool. All right, so before inviting people to join you, you need to make sure that you have established a relationship with them. You don't want to just be cold inviting people that, you've never really talked to before. I don't know about you, but if I get a message from somebody that's like, hey girl, love your vibe, think you'd be an amazing fit for our team. I know we don't really know each other, but you just seem like you have a great energy and I think you'd love it. Bye. I mean, are you really going to respond? Like, has she even taken any time to really get to know you? You don't know her. It's weird, right? So you want to make sure before you're just shooting out these random messages to people that you've established some sort of connection or relationship with them. You want to make sure that you're going to their page, you're loving on their stuff, you're getting to know them, or just saying, your first conversation should be something other than an invite. And then once you've established the relationship, then that's the time to invite them to join your informational sneak peek. One tip that Marian had recommended was, after sending a third-party tool to somebody, because I make this mistake all the time, is not to ask, so what did you think? Because that can offer up an opportunity for them it sparks criticism. They could be like, well, I didn't like this, or I liked that, whatever. So instead, asking, what did you like best about it? Or what sparked your interest? Or wasn't that awesome? And then see what they have to say. Just keeping it positive, keeping it light, and not offering them an opportunity to criticize the video that you've sent them. Another thing I want to touch on was that no doesn't mean no forever, right? We hear no so many times, and I know it can be discouraging and defeating. But again, 80% of the people on our team and in our groups have come from follow-ups. Couple examples: Megan, an amazing coach on our team, she completely ignored my message for like 2 years. And then all of a sudden one day she's like, hey, I want to join your team. And I was like, I didn't even know you were watching because you ignored me like 2 years ago. So it all depends on when people are ready, and you never know when that time is going to hit for them. So making sure to keep in contact with people and never writing anybody off. I have another example of 2 challengers that I have in my groups right now who both had other coaches. They both lived in my neighborhood in Brooklyn. They both already had other coaches. They signed up with other people. And guess what? Neither one of their coaches are coaching them right now. But I'm still here. I'm still plugging away. And they saw that I was consistent. Their coach probably isn't running groups anymore. And they still wanted support. They're still involved in the community, and they wanted the support. And so they decided to switch to me. So even though it took about 2 years before they ended up joining into my challenge groups, now they're loyal challengers with me. So if I had just stopped talking to them because they had another coach, they wouldn't be in my group today. So following up is key. And, just because they say no right now doesn't mean no forever. And a follow-up, let me just put it out there, it doesn't have to be inviting them over and over and over. Like, you don't want to just pop in every 3 months and be like, hey, are you ready now? Hey, are you ready now? Hey, are you ready? Like, that's annoying. You know what I mean? But following up can just be a check-in. It can be, noticing something that they've posted on social media, talking to them about it. Maybe they just had a baby, reaching out to them, asking how they're coping as a new mom, or coping as a mom of 2, or, talking about that cool trip to Greece that they took, and, opening up the conversation in other ways. I can't tell you how many times that I've opened up conversations with people and haven't talked at all about Beachbody, or I have, but I haven't directly invited them to anything, and then they bring it up with me, just because that's the way the conversation naturally flows. So it doesn't always have to be this annoying, like, hey, I know you weren't interested 3 months ago, but maybe things have changed, kind of a follow-up. An example that I wanted to share too was, I have a challenger in my group right now who, she was an old challenger. She kind of fell off for a while. She had her second baby, so she was just kind of doing other things. And I honestly just reached out to her to see how things were going after her second baby turned 1. And I was like, oh, happy birthday to Teddy. I saw he turned 1. That's so exciting, yada, yada. And then we kind of just started into a conversation. She asked me, what I've been up to, and I shared other things about my life, but then I kind of slid in there like, oh, I just finished Shaun T's new program, and I'm starting up, 80-day obsession soon, and finally feeling like I'm back in shape again, and then went on with the rest of my message. And then her response back to me was like, oh yeah, I really would love to get back into things again. So it was kind of just a more natural flowing conversation and didn't have to be this awkward interaction of like, I'm trying to sell you something. You know what I mean? Like just having a conversation and being a normal human being, that is really the best way to go about it. So nothing seems creepy and weird. And then one other challenger that I recently have, I wanted to give the example too, was this was more, I know this person, it was my cousin, but it was more of a colder invite. Like I talked to her in person about what I was doing, and she kind of showed some interest, but she never really outrightly said it. So I kind of just reached out and said, I just kind of was like, hey, are you interested in this? And I got her on the phone, and that was also interesting too, is like getting people on the phone, and like right after the conversation, she's like, okay, next steps, what do I need to do? And that was that. So sometimes getting people on the phone and letting them hear your passion for what you're doing in the voice can sometimes help too. Okay. One tip on these conversations as well is like mirroring the type of message that you're getting from other people. So if your person that you're talking to is somebody who likes to write a lot and tell you a lot of their story and write paragraphs of information, then, you know, giving them a proper response with a lot of detail is important because it's important to them. If they are somebody who likes a short and sweet, quick message and that's how they're writing you, don't write them a 5-paragraph long email because they want something short and sweet because that's what they're showing you. So mirroring on your messaging is really important so that you don't turn people off by writing too much or cutting it too short when they really want to hear more from you. What else? One more example I had was someone who I'd invited her to my challenge and she was in, and then she kind of ghosted for a couple days. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what happened. She said she was in, and then she kind of like went away for a couple days. Like, how do I don't want to be annoying and say, hey, what happened? So what I did was I just went to her Instagram stories and I noticed that she was on vacation, and I'm like, okay, so maybe that was why she hadn't responded to me. And all I did was comment on one of her stories on this beautiful scenery that she had posted, and all I did was say pretty, and that was it. I didn't say, hey, did you get my last message? Hey, do you still want to sign up? All I said was pretty on a picture that she had posted. And immediately she wrote me back and was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry for the delay. I want to sign up. I'll do this option. So sometimes a follow-up doesn't have to be like this, what we think of as a typical follow-up. It can kind of just be this slighter little nudge, this little conversation to just show them that you haven't forgotten about them. But keeping it positive, keeping the language excited, and keeping things confident. The last thing that I want to talk about is just making sure that that we aren't just posting on social media and doing our workouts and doing our PD, but that we are actually inviting every day, because inviting is the main activity. Inviting and follow-ups are those activities that are going to be income producing activities. You can do your workout every day, and that's something that you need to do, but doing your workout every day is not an income producing activity. No one is going to join your challenge group just because you are pressing play. You have to make sure that you're inviting people every single day to join this opportunity and to join your challenge group, because that is the only way you will fill your challenge group and your team. And I like the example that I heard in regards to this, which is that the inviting is planting the seeds with people. Even if you get 10 no's, you're still planting all of those seeds for people for when they're ready. And the social media part of it, which is my favorite part of it, and sometimes I can get caught up in that because I think that part is fun. And I'll like, oh, I'll just do another social media post instead of doing my invites. And that's not the way to do it, because the invite is watering the seeds. But if they're not planted first, then there's nothing to water. So if there's no invites going out there, you're basically just watering the dirt. So you have to make sure that you're planting those seeds with those invites first, and then your social media is going to have that much more of an impact on the people when they're reading it. Okay, that is it. I'm going to wrap up now. I've talked too much. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, you can post them in the chat and I can answer that now. And if not, I will let you go. And thanks again for joining. Let's crush the rest of this launch, and let's crush our open house tomorrow night. All right, bye guys.